Hey, this is Kirk.
This Byrd. This is the Kirk and Byrd show with our special guest today, Tommy Reamon Jr. All right, he's got a great story, comes from a great family, and we're just gonna learn a whole lot about what his playing career, his coaching career, and what he's doing now. Welcome to the show, Tommy.
Happy to be here. I'm honored. Thank you for having me.
We're excited to have you. So real quick, we got to do public service announcement, and that's that we want to get people to check us out. We're really specializing a lot in a niche, which is high school sports, both all around the state, regional, and we do a little bit of pro sports. But you can find us on YouTube at the Kirk and Byrd Show, BYRD. And if you want to listen to an audio podcast, just audio, you can check us out on Amazon, Apple, Spotify, or Google. Now, having said that, Tommy, you've got a fascinating story in that, like us, you grew up, on the peninsula, and you played sports and you've had a sports background, but now you're doing something that has been your dream, and you're in the fashion industry. And you've opened up City on My Chest, which is growing. You've got a store now. So we want to talk to you. I mean, it's a sports podcast, but want to talk about how exciting this is. We know you started in a garage, and now you've got a storefront. So why don't you tell us about City on My Chest? What it's doing now and how you came up with it.
Yeah, so City on My Chest is my clothing brand, and it's all about empowering my community and surrounding cities. It's about being proud of wherever you come from. It started right here in Newport News, Virginia, and it grew to over, we've done over 1,000 different custom T-shirts for cities all around the world. And wow. It's more than just a brand; it's actually a community, activism movement. That it's not just the word "City on My Chest." It's me proudly being out here demonstrating and helping my town, helping the kids in my community, and just giving back. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, that it's a cool clothing brand, but it's also like, okay, this guy's really out here in this community trying to help and give back.
Yeah.
Man,
go ahead, Busty.
I love that, bro. Because look, that's why we do this show. Man, we're both sitting up here in Northern Virginia, but man, that's how Kirk and I connected. We didn't even know each other growing up, but we love where we're from. Yep. I'm Hampton, VA, Newport News kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud, man. I'm proud of your dad. Like, he's a legend. I'm talking Michael Vick, my brother. All the people, Ronald Curry, but and I'll tell people I'm from Hampton. And it's funny, my wife, she moved around a lot as a kid, but I will meet somebody right now, they'll say, where are you from? I'm from Hampton. My wife is like, you haven't lived in Hampton in 30 years. Yeah. I'm like, but no, that's where I'm from, and I'm proud, and so I love what you're doing, bro. Like, City on My Chest, like, people repping where you're from, to me, like your hood, like it's funny because when we're at home together, like your block might be against my block, but once we step outside of here, bro, like we are one.
We're one, absolutely. And that feeling that you have is the exact feeling I had that started City on My Chest. And you're right. When I travel, like when we're here, it may be Newport News versus Hampton, Norfolk, etc. But when we see somebody out and about and they say they're from the 757, especially Hampton, you're like, you family now. Like,
that's right.
Yeah, you from the crib. So that's the feeling that I use to create this brand.
And custom brands are becoming huge. I just learned about them from younger people, and I've started looking at things, hoodies, sweatshirts, and it goes on from that, hats. And I'm just like, is that a custom brand? They're like, yeah, it's from Los Angeles or whatever. So now we've got one out of the 757. I'm sure it's not the only one. And I like it a lot. And Rusty will tell you that I'm the kind of guy that if I didn't think it was a good look or a fresh look, I would just keep talking about the great way. But I was telling you before we went on camera, I was about to order one, but then I saw, the rappers and the athletes wearing them. I was like, I got to get one of those, and I can't design that. But while we're at it, and I want you to continue talking about how you've grown the business, because I've got some business questions about that. And then we want to talk about a fabulous sports career and being around some great people and what you've done. But let's plug you. Your website is
cityonmychest.store.
Right. cityonmychest.store. Everybody out there, it's on the screen. We're going to keep it on the screen for a while, give you time to write it down. And then Tommy had a nice ribbon cutting ceremony. Tommy, was that back in December?
That was November 2020.
Yeah. Okay. So he's at Patrick Henry Mall, right on Jefferson Avenue. Oh, yeah. When we were leaving for college, it was just being built. Yeah. So
I had a girlfriend in Denby, and I used to drive past. My wife jokes me today. I used to go past Yoda Dairy. None of this was here. Yoda Dairy. I used to. Yep.
So maybe some folks in Hampton Roads that don't know where. You know what's so funny is we have GPS now. Why would I give out the address? City on My Chest, Patrick Henry Mall, 12,300 Jefferson Avenue, Newport News, Virginia, 23602. I'm hitting GPS, Tommy. But so what I want
to hold on. So you also have an online presence, so people not able to get to Patrick Henry Mall.
Good point.
You fill orders online?
Absolutely. So we do have the storefront, and cityonmychest.store is the website.
Yeah. And you can design your own shirt. And I'm sure the kids are better at it, Tommy. I'm just an old guy. But, I'm looking through his stuff, and he's got really, really cool stuff. He's got sweats, he's got T-shirts, he's got hats, he's got things for men and women. And, it might be started in 757, but I can tell you that the look is really good. And we're in Northern Virginia. We have viewers in DC, Maryland, Richmond, and all those places. And these kids
Tommy, I'm going to tell you right now, bro. I got to get some from you. That's Kirk and Byrd, 757-703. We got to figure out how to do that, man.
That's what City on My Chest is all about.
We'll get Kirk and Byrd.
The custom aspect lets you create
right,
like you can brand yourself. So that's the beauty of City on My Chest.
But let's get back to, or you had the idea. You've always, you had a career going in sports, and I think you had this thing of let me go try something that is my dream. So why don't you talk about? I believe it was the New Orleans Saints was the last sports job, and then you said, you know what, you're gonna do something. A lot of people don't have the guts to do. You did something. You said, okay, I like fashion. Tell us about starting out to where you are now and how it's grown and some of the intricacies of that.
So it started in 2012, actually, 10 years ago in my dorm room at Old Dominion. I was sitting there at my desk listening to Lil Wayne, and he had a line that said, "I'm so New Orleans." And I used to always swap that out for "I'm so Newport News." And it just hit me one day, said, I'm going to put that on a shirt. And not knowing what it could be at the time, but just being very passionate about being where I'm from was the sole reason why I wanted to make that shirt. And so I made it. And just wearing it out and about, people started asking hey, can I get one? I'm like, sure. And then the next thing you know, somebody was like, can you do a Hampton one? And that's kind of when the light bulb went off, I can interchange cities, for any city in the world, really. And kind of, and just like that, a brand, it wasn't even a brand. It was just an idea was born. And for years, I was just making shirts, didn't have a name, City on My Chest, didn't have a logo. I was literally putting "I'm so Virginia Beach," "I'm so Norfolk," "I'm so Portsmouth" on T-shirts. And it just kept growing and growing and growing to the point that I'm like, I really have something here. And so I graduated from Old Dominion and went on to start coaching at UVA. And as everybody know, even before the NIL, these athletes are, walking billboards. So naturally, we got players in the locker room from all over. So I'm like, where you from? I made a shirt. Where you from? Make him a shirt. So they're on campus and it's starting to spread. Still like, hey, where you get these shirts from? They're like, hey, the new GA guy made it. And just like that, even on the college campus, it kept growing and growing. And it kind of repeated the process at every stop, from UVA to the Pittsburgh Steelers, to the University of Miami, back home to Christopher Newport, Virginia Tech, and New Orleans Saints. That recipe kind of just I duplicated it, and next thing you know, all these college athletes and pro athletes were wearing it, and people are asking if you're a pro athlete from a hometown and people from that hometown see that shirt, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Hey, where did you get that shirt? And that's kind of how City on My Chest, was born. And then I didn't get the idea to even take it to a storefront till actually when I came home from New Orleans. I got let go from the Saints. So I came back home not knowing what the next step would be. And for the first time, I'm like, I can put all my attention into, the brand, because coaching is a full-time job. We were in the office from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at night. So it was hard to try to balance, a side hobby. But when I came home, I said, I got all the time in the world. So I hit the ground running, and right in the midst of a pandemic, that's when we opened up our store, and there was no looking back.
Right.
Okay.
So
that is great.
That is awesome. When you started, let me ask you about supply. Like, where are you getting your shirts? Are you getting them from Gildan?
Early on, no, I've never been the Gildan guy. The first thing you learn in, quality, nothing's wrong with Gildan, but when you want to kind of raise your price point, you got to have, a better quality shirt.
Right.
So brands like Bella Canvas, Bella Canvas we use the most. Next Level's very popular. Those were like the brands that we were still using to this day. But yeah, we stayed away from the Gildans.
So I was just gonna say, are you buying directly from them?
No, not yet. You have the
distributor?
Yeah, we have a distributor.
Right.
And I've seen other brands who do, quite the volume and numbers that can get invited to Bella Canvas directly. So that's the goal, to, let them know that we're moving product enough that we can go straight to them.
Okay, great. And go ahead, Rusty, you had a question.
No, so do you also have the different materials in terms of, like the whatever the new dry, instead of just kind of, what is the new dry fit like? This is my shirt.
You got polyester, you got 50-50 brands that's half cotton, half polyester. Like it's a shirt. It's 1,000 different types of shirts out there.
Okay, so you got all of that.
Yeah. And depending on what the customer, especially if it's like a team order or something, you can kind of give them exactly what they want. But the general shirt that we use is like 60% polyester, 40% cotton. That's a shirt.
Yeah, I like that. Now when I've been purchasing shirts, when I coached, I even have a ministry right here, Team Jesus. All right. I've ordered shirts for them and for all of the sports teams I've sponsored or played on. And so no, I started out because we were poor and cheap, but now as we've grown, I'm like, let's get the quality.
Yeah.
We got more quality type stuff. So that's good, man. That is good. And Kirk, I don't know if you have any more about City on My Chest, but I want to also find a little bit more about Tommy's athletic career. But if you got anything else, Kirk, you want to ask about City on My Chest?
Yeah. Real quick, let's barter a quick deal real quick. So this is what we'll do. Why don't we get Rusty and I to get some City on My Chest shirts, and we'll plug you no charge. And then when you sell 10 million of them, we'll work out a deal. No, but
right.
What we'll do is, seriously, once we get the shirts, we'll plug you for 5 or 6 shows, and let's just see what happens.
Absolutely. I would love to. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll tell them the Kirk and Byrd show sent you. And and then I want to do the custom. We'll do the general. We're both going to get Hampton. But I want that the really fresh.
I can rock Newport News too. I lived in Denby for 2 years, son.
Okay.
The ones that Cam Chancellor and those guys had on, those are the ones I really like. So, but Tommy's had a very great historic a career that's just taken him everywhere. That's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. Go ahead, Rusty.
Yeah. So first of all, Tommy, I know you get this a lot, but your dad is an icon and a legend, okay, from Newport News and from that whole 757. And so I know we're interviewing you, but can you just tell some of our viewers a little bit about your dad? Because he is a legend and looked up to and done a lot of great things.
Well, I want to start off with a real quick question. When you got in trouble, did your dad use a belt or a switch, or because I know that dude could probably lay you out, right?
Yeah, he was Pops was a hand guy back in the day.
I would not want his hand.
Look, my mom would use a belt when we would go to the country, she get them switches, and then my mom would get also hands. But man, I tried using my hand. That junk be hurt. I got 3 kids, bro. I had to just go all belt. But go ahead.
I thought we start that a little differently, but go ahead. I'm sorry, that might have got your thought train off.
Yeah, my dad, he is a legend, but he's the most humble man I know. You can't tell him he's a legend because he'll tell you that he's not. But he just received the key to the city at our basketball game, March 19th, from the mayor. First time the mayor has presented anybody with that. But long story short, he was a Newport News native, a kid chasing a dream, playing football. He didn't qualify, so he went off to junior college to Fort Scott, Kansas. And at the time, it was the Wild Wild West. And went out there and really made a name for himself, became an All-American, national championship winner, and even recently now named top 50 greatest junior college football players of all time. Mm-hmm. He leaves there, goes on to University of Missouri and finishes his career, and then gets drafted in the 9th round to the Pittsburgh Steelers, only to turn the Pittsburgh Steelers down and go play in the World Football League for the Florida Blazers.
Right.
It's a gift and a curse because he went down there and won MVP of the league, but also the Pittsburgh Steelers won the Super Bowl that year. So it was kind of, one of those situations. But ultimately, he tore that league up back-to-back years, and then found himself back in the NFL, bouncing around from team to team. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Chicago Bears, Jack Pardee, and even Walter Payton had to study his film to learn a new offense. And Walter Payton even spoke about that in his book. So that's always something that I truly cherished. And finished pro football to go to Los Angeles and become an actor. Right. Played in the movie North Dallas 40. And NFL Network rated that the #1 football movie of all time.
All time, that's right.
I don't even know if I agree with it, but we take the accolades. We definitely take it. So, but definitely a great movie. Played in Charlie's Angels, TV shows, to then come back home and start his coaching career for 35 plus years at Mariner High School, Ferguson High School, Warwick High School, Gloucester, and finished up at Lansdowne. Yeah. Along the way, helping thousands of guys go to college, and 2 guys notably named Aaron Brooks and Michael Vick, mentor those guys. And just help, facilitate and guide those guys to the next level, because the talent was there, but we all know it takes more than just the talent to get, guys to the next level. And just recently retired, and we have started the Sitting on My Chest Sports Academy, which is ultimately what he's been doing the whole time. And that's helped guide, educate kids and mentor them to get to college and chase their dream.
Yeah.
That is great.
Did you say you started at Manor
High School? Yep.
Yeah, and that's Portsmouth, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you played for your dad, right?
I did at Warwick for my freshman year. Then he took the job at Gloucester.
The
last 3 seasons at Gloucester.
Okay.
And you were a pretty good football player, I remember.
He was a very good football player. Very.
Oh, I know.
I was okay. The rating rivals top 25 quarterback, ESPN top 25 quarterback.
That's right.
There's several, Division I offers. So, I was okay once upon a time.
Yeah.
No, you were the man. And so, but so you did that at Gloucester, but you helped start that ODU football program, right?
Yeah, I was part of the first class, and I headlined the first recruiting class, and that was definitely an experience within itself to come in and redshirt an entire season, and no games, just practicing for a year, and then we started off, and Old Dominion, Coach Wilder did a great job with that program and got built to what it is today.
So backing up, you graduated high school in 2008.
2008. Yes, sir.
So your dad was a big star by then. I mean, nationally. Yeah. What was it like playing for your dad? And I'm saying, playing for your dad as his coaching style, but playing for your dad as his son.
It was fun. I knew what my dad expected and demanded from me. I always joke with people. I say the difference is when he gets, upset, or if you get upset at your coach, you can go home at night and get away from him. Right. I come home and he's in there making dinner. But you know, I think, you know, we had chemistry and I understood, you know, everything that he was asking for and demanded from me. And, you know, going to college was a dream of mine. So, you know, he didn't have to, you know, preach to the choir because it was something that I wanted to do. And I bought in, you know, the proof was in the pudding, you know, from Aaron Brooks to Michael Vick to Marcus Vick. You know, he had guys on top of guys go to college at this position. So, I said, the man knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, cool.
So when it came time, when you started getting recruiting and you had the accolades, obviously your dad had been through that before with some big time recruits. What was that like for you, making the decision?
It was awesome having him because he, you know, I trusted him and he knew how to handle these situations. You know, he's been in, you know, big time staff meetings with big time coaches, and just like little rules he had, like wherever you go, you're going to redshirt. That was the same rule that he had for Michael Vick. And a lot of times we see these quarterbacks get thrown into the fire so early and they're not ready. And next thing you know, you're done with them, you know, like let's, you know, moving on. So that was one thing that he always preached, like no matter where you go, you're going to redshirt and learn the position.
That's great advice.
Mm-hmm.
So many of these kids get sold as, oh, you can start as a freshman. My brother played at Virginia Tech and he wishes he had been redshirted. Like you know, Frank Beamer was like, no, I need you. But he looked, my brother goes, because he played 4 years, they never made a bowl. After he graduated, they went on that 20-some year streak. He's like, if I had just been redshirted, but I also would have been a little more mature. I got stronger and faster if I had that extra year.
What year?
Yeah, that's great advice.
What years were your brother there?
He was there from 89 to 93.
Okay.
92. He graduated in 93. But he was there with Marcus Michael. He was there. Who was some of the Kirk? Kirk was there around that time.
Yeah,
my brother played in the CFL, okay, won a Grey Cup with the Baltimore Stallions. But when he finished playing, he coached against your dad. My brother coached on those first 5 or 6 years at Heritage High School. He coached against Michael Vick. And my brother was telling people back then, he said, y'all hear about this Ronald Curry, but y'all don't know. We got somebody that's always second team all district, second team all region, second team all state, but he's the truth.
Just to make this, just one more thing, small world. So I have a brother. He played at Virginia Tech from 89 to 92. Dwayne Knight. So ask your brother.
Oh yeah, that's my man. Yeah.
Dwayne went on to play in the CFL for a couple of years as well. So small world. When you say 89 to 92, I'm like, my brother was there. I was just born. Yeah. So he was leaving off the year I was born.
So what was your process like? You chose ODU. Well, we know you have some other options, but you know, who were some of the schools that you looked at, and what did it come down to?
We had the University of Buffalo. Turner Gill was there at the time.
Yeah.
The University of Missouri, where my father went. South Florida came in very late. UVA wanted me to play safety. Coach London wanted me to play safety. I wish I would have did it.
I was going to ask you, were all of those to play quarterback?
Yeah, all those to play quarterback, but UVA was defense, and you know, looking back, I wish I would have gave it a shot. Just knowing the coaching side of how like defensive guys get opportunities, you know, it's a little bit more frequent than the offensive side of ball. But those were the heavyweights, and then along with Northern Illinois, Coach Beatty, that's from the area. He was there at the time, and along with, you know, the smaller schools around here. But you know, something about the hometown startup team, just, you know.
Oh yeah.
I had a dream of like, yo, home is home. Why not? Everybody wants to play for their hometown, so that's what gave ODU the edge.
Right. Let me ask you something, Tommy, because you were a quarterback. Now, you may not have experienced it like others, you know, when we were growing up, but like being a Black quarterback, was that something that what was that like for you? Now, you know, before you had the Vicks and you had those, but I distinctly remember, like when I was a kid, if there was a Black quarterback, like, you know, we're going to watch him and we're going to support him. But I also I said, we also knew the system was stacked against them. I mean, and I look back at Charlie Ward, who won the Heisman, led Florida State to the national championship. But Charlie Ward is what we see today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Kyler Murray, a lot of these guys, but a lot of people just weren't, thinking that those African-American quarterbacks were going to be able to throw and have an intelligent game, not just be athletic. So tell me about that. Was that still even an issue in your recruitment or your thinking as you were coming along? It's gotten better.
Yeah,
my kids don't get it, but doesn't seem to be an issue now, but was that still a thing?
Yeah, it was definitely, the elephant in the room. And, shout out to all the guys that helped pave the way to make it, a little bit easier for me. But it was definitely some stigmas that was always in the air about that, being a mobile guy versus a pocket passer. And,
right.
Or even just, the number of opportunities and shots you may get, But the crazy thing is, growing up, it is what it is. That became my norm. Like, that's the cards that's, that's stacked against it. So it's almost like you put a chip on your shoulder and, you just accept the challenge.
Yeah.
Cool.
I talk to a lot of Virginia Tech guys because I'm a Tech guy and I know a lot of players as well as UVA. And, back in the 80s, there were players that are better than some of the African-American quarterbacks now that have made considerable amounts of money. They were better. And it's really too bad the system is that way. And then it's funny when I hear people talking about Lamar Jackson in Baltimore and they want to, this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, you're faulting the guy for being mobile. And it's like, you could take his legs off and that guy's a stud,
Yeah.
And it's just his legs are great. And he doesn't put his head down. I mean, he is so dynamic, but, it is. I mean, it's great. We're making progress. We got a long way to go.
Yep.
Yeah. And I look back, man, and I see some of the great players that came out of Peninsula District, man. I'm glad Aaron got that shot. I was a big fan of his. Coach Brooks, his uncle was a good friend of mine, is a good friend of mine. When I was growing up, he was a mentor to me. I was in the Omega League. But I remember like the Eric Hunters, like people don't, now this is before your time, but you talk about another class of 89, Hampton High School. Eric Hunter went to Purdue and was amazing. Like he beat Michigan as a freshman. He was the MVP of a college all-star game and didn't get that shot in the league, so.
Lance Redding at Ferguson.
Oh, yeah.
Hampton had some great quarterbacks. There were a bunch of great football players that always got converted, to something else. But, it is good to see that there's more and more kids out there now. So you went to ODU. You got your degree there. And how was football and the social side? Because, you were close to home. Sometimes I wonder about that because I went far. I mean, was it like, you just go across the tunnel and you were at home? I mean, how was the scene, both football and a great place to go to school, Norfolk?
I think I handled it pretty well, but for some guys from the area, it was definitely, a gift and a curse that you can get back home to all your homeboys and family so quickly. But, Dad really wasn't, having that of just, coming back for no reason all the time. I was always welcome at home, but I think I handled it pretty well. My first 2 semesters, I did start off on academic probation. And then my last 2 semesters, I was on the
I almost did too.
And I finished on the
Dean's list. Wow.
Wow. So it was definitely a growth process that, at 18 years old, a lot of freedom, it takes some acclimation.
Yeah.
You got you started. I mean, you guys started a new program, and were you a part of some of the success? Like there was success early.
It was
at ODU. Were you a part of some of that?
Yeah, at one point I forgot. I think it was after year 3. We qualified as the greatest starter program of all time just because of the hot start that we got off to. So it was definitely history in the making. I look back at those moments and, my career at quarterback didn't go as planned, but I spent time playing every position and I ended up helping me as a coach being able to relate, just saying like, okay, I've lined up at running back, tight end, slot, receiver, special teams. At the time it was kind of frustrating bouncing around, just trying to find your way. But once I became a coach, I was like, maybe that was my calling the whole time, which makes me a better coach. So I'm definitely grateful for the experience.
Tell us a little bit about your coaching, because I see you've been to some great programs, and so when you're in that coaching, tell us some of the positions you coached, and then some of the athletes we might have heard of, that have gone on.
So it started at UVA. Thankful for the relationship that Coach London and my father had of looking at my father as a mentor. It timed up. Marcus Higgins had moved from a GA to the receiver coach. So I ended up taking his position, and honored to work with him as a guy that I looked up to be in his room and learn from him. I mean, it was like a kid in a candy store, like, growing up, right after the Ronald Carey days of the Hampton High School. And, he helped continue the legacy. I was a huge fan. And so I definitely compliment him to, polishing me early in the game as a young coach, giving me some gems. Also on that staff was Anthony Poindexter, who's in the College Hall of Fame. Sean Moore was on that staff, another legend. So as a young kid, I was surrounded by some great coaches and just kind of soak in the game, and that really got me, started to moving on to the Pittsburgh Steelers, having an internship underneath Mike Tomlin. I mean, those 6 months, I couldn't fathom a better experience of literally him opening up the doors to like, hey, come up here and learn, from one-on-one meetings with him or the GM on the scouting side, just soaking up the game, being around a young Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger, these are like, legendary names.
Yeah.
That I'm just like a fly on the wall every day. And that led down to the University of Miami for one season. And, it's the U, the legendary U.
Yeah, the U, bro. Wow.
Absolutely. And what people don't know, I went to Miami as a volunteer, so I didn't get paid. And it was one of them things in the coaching world. If you want an opportunity, sometimes you got to do it for free. And, we treat you like a coach, but we're just not paying you.
Right.
And it's a lot of guys that do that to get their feet wet. And I couldn't think of a better place to do it than, Miami, Florida, with the beautiful weather and palm trees.
Oh, yeah, man.
I was there a week ago, man.
Yeah, I'm actually headed there Friday. We're going down from Friday to Wednesday to do a couple photo shoots and stuff for the brand. But Miami was awesome. I left there and came back home to Christopher Newport, and that's actually was the first time I was a position coach. I got hired as the defensive back coach, moved to coaching outside linebackers, and then by the season I was coaching running backs. And that's Division III at its finest. You gotta wear a lot of hats, and you gotta be able to adjust. And I was there for 2 years, being back home, working with guys, kind of from my community. It was definitely, I had the experience of the big leagues, and it was also very humbling and a learning experience to see how, smaller Division III football, operates. I still had a dream to get back to the big time Division I football. So I ended up leaving there, going to Virginia Tech. But I also went there as a volunteer. Another opportunity that Bud Foster said, hey, we got a spot for you. And when Bud Foster says he got a spot for you, you go.
Yeah, man.
No ifs, ands, and buts. So I was at Virginia Tech for a season working with the DBs. So that was my first time truly on defense, because I got moved to running backs at CNU before the season even started. So I only spent some weeks, on defense at CNU. But now for the first time, I'm working on defense underneath Bud Foster, which is some say maybe the greatest, D coordinator of all time, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
And that really took my coaching game experience and knowledge to the next level, because I could see the game on offense, but now I can see it from a defensive point of view. And, that season at Virginia Tech, definitely, I think, put my coaching game to the next level to ultimately get a job as a scout with the New Orleans Saints. And I was trying to get with the Saints when I was at CNU. And like anything, they said, hey, I'm going to just be completely honest. Us hiring a guy from Christopher Newport, a school that nobody knows, isn't that exciting. So that's part of the reason why I took the job with Virginia Tech. I'm like, okay, I got to rebrand myself. And that led to me being a scout with the New Orleans Saints. And, I didn't make it as a player to the NFL, but I did touch my NFL dream, on the scouting side.
Wow.
Full time.
That's all right.
Not just an internship like, with the Steelers. So that was definitely a blessing and one hell of a ride.
Oh, man, let me ask you something. Kirk, I'll let you go after.
No, you won't. You'll talk for the rest of the hour. Go ahead.
That's okay, because I know football. So I've coached youth football, middle school football, and when you're at that level, you're coaching every position. But tell me, what's it like when you're getting a job and you're coaching a position you didn't play? How do you learn how to coach outside linebackers or defensive backs if you didn't play that at a higher level?
You got to do your homework. You got to go to clinics, you get on YouTube, there's coaches all over the world putting great videos up, and you just got to get familiar with the position, because at the end of the day, it's still football, but it's some intricate parts that you need to learn and know. And like I said, clinics, or go to different coaches that do coach the position and spend time, with them. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you didn't play the position, but do you know the game of football?
Right.
The game of football, you can adapt to just almost to any position.
Yep. Guys get hired all the time because they want a great coach, but they may not necessarily have their position. They go, they can move around, and that's very good for being, a coordinator.
Yep, absolutely.
I was going to ask you. I was just going to ask you a couple of things. Before I want to talk about what you're doing in the community beyond the apparel, but I also have I want to ask some cool stuff about the apparel, because I get excited about somebody that's on the verge of doing something that could be international. So the community stuff, you've got a sports academy. So let's start with that. Start with the sports academy and tell everybody what City on My Chest is doing with the sports academy, where it is, the timing, the sports, all those different things.
Absolutely. So it was kind of perfect timing of my father, retiring, and me having dreams of just taking my brand into the sporting world. So once he announced his retirement, I was planning on doing a camp anyway, but now it was like, okay, I got a guy who's been doing this for 35 plus years, and somebody that I love dearly that can come on board, and we can really give this thing and take it to the next level, because his credibility is second to none. So we were coming up on our third event. We partnered with Recruit Nation a few months ago and did our first camp. That wasn't really our camp, but we did facilitate and sponsor some kids to go to their camp. And then just recently we did a community basketball game, the Newport News All-Stars versus the Hampton All-Stars.
Who won? Who won? I'm sorry.
Newport News won both games.
Well, I'll say this. Growing up, and we had the Denby guys confirm, growing up, Hampton was football and Newport News was basketball.
Newport News,
and it really was. Newport News had some ballers. And then Allen Iverson, we got that ship with Hampton High and Kevin Swan, and then Chuck got one at Bethel, and we're like, okay, we can ball too.
Yeah. So a kid from Phoebus did win the 3-point contest though.
Cool.
So so he held it down for the city of Hampton. But it was a sellout event, great turnout. I didn't want it to be a heated rivalry. I wanted to push it as a community event, bringing two cities and communities together, just because it's a rivalry that's never been truly done. It's kind of like either at the park, with your boys, you can do it, but in front of a legit crowd in a high school basketball gym, that was history within itself to see, Hampton versus Newport News. And then coming up in May, we have our first Peninsula Showcase football camp with over 20 college coaches confirmed of coming. And it's going to be at Todd Stadium May 14th on a Saturday.
May, what is it?
14th.
14th, okay. That's
Saturday. I have a son. I will have my son is a junior, and he's class 2023, and he's gotten some recruiting interest. Been on to a lot of big time schools, but I'm gonna have to get him down there for that. I've had him since he was in the 7th grade. He was going to the Hampton Roads Youth Football Camp every summer because I played football with Carl Francis.
Shout out to
Bethel
Carl and Vernon Lee.
Oh yeah, that's my man. And Vern is my man too. I played against him, and then him living up here, we've kept in touch. And so I've always had my kids there, but I'm definitely come out there. And then just want to pick your brain about having a son that's a pretty decent football player in the 11th grade, and what else he needs to do.
Absolutely, we would love to have him.
Where can people get information on that camp?
We just finished. The flyer will go up tomorrow, so we just finalized the flyer, and we will have information on the website, cityonmychest.store.
Okay.
Also, just on our social media our handle is at City on My Chest on all platforms. On Facebook, we have the Sports Academy page. And any questions, feel free just to DM us or check out the website.
I'll find out what all those are and I'll overlay them right now. So it's going to be May 14th, which is a Saturday at Todd Stadium. Okay. All right. And then, I was looking at some of the things that you said you wanted to talk about. Now, your father, 34-year coaching career, has done a lot of mentoring, but you're going to have the opportunity to be in business but also help bring people up. And one of the things that we say about our friend Boo Williams, who's a legend, is that so many people think about basketball, and Boo is just one of those guys. The Netflix documentary's coming out, Tommy, but he's one of those guys that helps so many kids just get a job. He's got kids that go to, Division II, Division III, mid-majors that are lawyers, doctors. The governor of Virginia is a Boo Williams All-Star alumni. But, what are some of your plans expanding upon, some of the events that you've already talked about, maybe long-term? And I just put one thing in. Rusty, you and I always talk about this. And Tommy, I think I saw it on your social media. We need a great indoor turf practice facility. Didn't you talk about that the other day?
That's definitely some of the plans and thoughts that we have had that this area definitely needs. I know that would be tremendous and inspiring to the youth, and help keep them off the streets, to be honest. I mean, a facility like that will, kids will gravitate to. But I also want to use City on My Chest Sports Academy to not only mentor kids on the field, but also introduce them to entrepreneurship. For me, I never even envisioned at that age that I'll be doing this. So if I can just plant the seed, like, hey, you can use football to get a free education, get a degree. And at the same time, if you got a business idea, you could be the next City on My Chest, or hopefully even bigger, and be the next Tommy Reamon out here, showing kids there's a different way. Because growing up, you always think like either I got to, play ball, rap, or, play football to kind of, make it. And no, it's like you don't. You can be just as cool, being a business owner, giving back to your community, and, just paving the way for the next generation.
Yeah. Tommy. So my wife ran track at Maryland, and she was there with Kevin Plank. Okay. And so when you blow up like Under Armour, I'm gonna come looking for a job, bro. I do budget and finance in the federal government. So.
Okay.
Hey, Tommy, I always say this, man. It's just like we joke about things like that.
Yeah.
But there's two sayings I have. There's why and why not. Yeah. All right. Somebody's gonna be much bigger than Under Armour. Okay, absolutely. That we don't even know about. Why can't it be Tommy Reamon Jr.? And the other thing is if you're gonna dream big, if you're gonna dream big. I actually had the opportunity in Arizona at a week-long event to meet Calvin Klein. Okay. Calvin Klein was a poor Jewish kid from Brooklyn who went to FIT and literally was like doing his stuff and was like eating crackers. And, once he started making those jeans in the late 70s, and, look what's going now. So everybody's got a story like that. And I mean, as hometown guys, we'd love to help you. And so anything else you want to talk about as far as the exciting things that you're doing? Because we know what we've read, but you maybe know some more things that may be cutting edge.
We've hit the nail on the head. My give back to the community is, first and foremost, that's what I want the brand to be about. We've been going to career days in schools. We just got invited to Denby High School, Tarrant Middle School for career days. And that's kind of what I want my legacy to be. No matter how big this thing gets, I always want to come back home and, show love to the city and the communities that help, shape who I am. And, it's sky's the limit for the brand. It's almost, sometimes I feel like I got a slow player because it's taking off just so fast. And, you want to keep control and hold on to the things that you're learning and grasp the moment before, for a blink of an eye, this thing could be Under Armour, it could be Nike. So I'm just trying to enjoy the experience because you never know. Like I said, like
that's right.
I wanted to grow up and be the next, Tommy Reamon Sr., Aaron Brooks, Michael Vick. Those were the guys, I just knew I was going to be like. And fast forward, here I am, a proud football alumni from this area, but these kids know me for City on my chest and not football.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd every time I go to school, go talk to kids, they really don't know much about my football background. They just think City on my chest is the coolest thing out. And that's kind of dope because my whole life has been football. So it's very inspiring.
Hey, Tommy, let me take, that's why we have this show, bro. Because it's a lot of people from the 757 that made it pro. And that's great. And we're going to have some of them on too. But man, I want to know, I like hearing the stories of the guys I know that the Lee Martins that we had on Denby Legend, played at CNU.
Shout out to Lee Martin.
Lee is my dog, man, but he's been a coach, athletic director at my school. But he's made an impact in the community, man. And what the common theme is athletics. So we all don't have to make it to the league, and education played a part, but it's also those connections, man. I love, hey, yo, I can hit up I may not know you directly, but I could get to you through somebody. I might be like, hey, somebody want to know Todd Kelly? Okay, I know how to get you to Todd Kelly. Or I can get to your pop, but that's what, those connections. But man, the thing is, one thing, I don't know if you run across this, but there are a lot of haters out there. But I feel like where I'm from, we love each other. I'm pushing, bro, I want you to succeed. I'm never going to hate on you, and that's what again, City on my chest. We're proud to represent that, man. That's good stuff.
And we'll talk to you off camera. And seriously, man, we got daytime jobs, and if you ever get big, we want a piece of your company, like friends and family stuff. But a great point that Rusty just made is, and it's a great episode, is Darren Fullwood, who's the middle of the Fullwood brothers, went to the United States Naval Academy, played football, actually played against Tech and Frank Beamer's first game. We always have this thing, and with you, yours is probably incredible, but we're always like, hey, man, who's the most interesting or coolest person that is on your cell phone that you could text, it could hit you back? And so Darren is an executive. He's way up with Amazon. And I said, Darren, it's Jeff Bezos. And he goes, no, but our new CEO, if I hit him up, he would hit me back. And I'm like, that's where education and football playing off of Big Bethel Road will take you. And that's what, he's doing now. And that's a great example. And by the way, Rusty and I, and you too, we could talk about people that have done great things in life. There's a lady that went to my high school that was general counsel for, I want to say, E-Trade Bank for a while. And, just so
Margot.
many people. Margot, one of my classmates at Phoebus, wrote Hidden Figures that Taraji P. Henson was in. We go on and on. I mean, and there are just so many opportunities.
It is. This area is known for sports, but so many influential people come from the 7-5.
Hard working people. Yeah. Not a whole lot of us were born with silver spoons in our mouths. I was born with a plastic spoon in my mouth. So. All right, so let's wrap it up, Tommy. I want to ask you one thing. What's something, not sports fame-wise, tell us something about your dad. Can you do a good impression of your dad?
Can I do a good impression of my dad? Yeah, I could.
Is it good?
I don't know. I know it's in my head. It's very accurate because I've heard these sayings, for a long time.
All right. Do you feel comfortable doing it? Don't do it if you're not comfortable.
No, I'm not going to do it because he's sitting in the
I had a backup.
in the next room. So I'm not.
That's okay. You definitely. All right. Tell me something that your pops is known for. How about cooking? Can he cook? Can he grill?
Cooking wouldn't be our strongest arena. Strong point.
Can he fish? Fish or crab?
We have never been fishing, but I know when he wrote his book, on the back of the cover is a picture of him and Michael Vick fishing. So I know him and Michael went fishing before, but me and him have never been fishing.
Yeah.
I got a question. Go ahead.
Nah, I'm about to say his secret skill. he's like a movie critic. He loves going to the movies.
Oh man, we can have some fun with that. We love our movies.
He could go to 3 in a row if you let him. Like he's a movie guy, and I guess that's
me. That's me, man.
I love.
So movies. Let me ask you. So speaking of movies, are you in the movies? What's your favorite all-time movie? Besides North Dallas 40. What's your?
The crazy thing is, the older I got away from TV and movies. Actually, you know, I'm a big YouTuber. I'll be on YouTube trying to watch and learn stuff. But if I had to go with my all-time movie that no matter if it came on, I gotta sit down. I'm going to Remember the Titans with Denzel Washington.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's a classic.
That's up there for me. Yeah, I met the coach. Yeah, but go ahead, man. Yeah,
just something about, you know, a classic football movie and you put Denzel in it. You know, that's always a win. You know, a win for me. So
yeah, that's I do what is it, Voodoo to rent my movies, and I finally there's 3 I bought. Remember the Titans, Friday, and Dazed and Confused, because you know Chris Tucker, Big Worm. You just if I'm in a bad mood, I gotta watch that. And then Dazed and Confused, Matthew McConaughey, all the guys are stoned the whole time, and that's funny. But yeah, now so
go ahead, Kirk.
Now
go ahead.
I was going to transition to music, and we'll close this out.
Okay, but I did want to ask him the question we asked Darren. Tommy, who in your cell phone would be interesting for us to know that you could text and they would hit you back?
Man, he's got Barack Obama in his phone. Come on.
Nah, I don't have Obama. I wish I did. You know, I have some relationships with, you know, some pretty important people that, I mean, respectively will text me back. Coach Mike Tomlin is a mentor of mine.
Wow, okay.
Howard White,
great guy.
VP of Jordan, that's from the area. You know, he's a mentor of mine. And even recently, I met him in my New Orleans days, but Brandon Marshall and everything he's doing with House of Athletes. And,
right.
You know, we communicate a lot. So, you know, those are 3 that I cherish and I really look up, and I, you know, cherish the words that they tell me and the advice that they give me. But just, you know, as far as just somebody that I know that deserves his story being told, a good friend of mine, Chris Moore, he's the head basketball coach at Thomas Nelson, and his father was Coach Ben Moore, a longtime Warwick High School.
Yeah. Ben Moore.
Yeah.
Chris Moore, sure. Yeah.
His dad was my middle school PE teacher at Reservoir Middle School.
Yep. So Thomas Nelson, they won the championship, and he received Coach of the Year this year.
Oh,
so
wow.
Chris is definitely somebody that has a story to tell.
That's good stuff.
So I just set you up, Tommy, because I want to make sure I have your cell phone number. I want to be able to text you, and when people be like, "Who you?" I was like, "Man, I got Tommy Jr., bro. That's my dog. He's gonna text me back." Yeah, I will. Definitely, I got to get your number because you're gonna be my number 1 answer.
And by the way, when we get people's numbers, we don't call you and say, "Hey, you know, blah 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 blah." We don't do that. We're trying to let our brand carry itself. But some guys will say, "Hey, what do you think?" But yeah, that would be great. But we're music guys, so let me think. You were born in 90?
89.
89.
80s, baby.
Yeah. It makes me think of that.
We were born in the 60s, man.
Hey, that makes me think of Fight the Power back in 89. All right. Yeah. So who you like?
My childhood to now, you know, I kind of went through my phases. Early on, you know, like middle school, when I started getting into music, I was a big 50 Cent guy. You know, 50 Cent was tearing up the scene. And then high school became Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne, hands down, you know, was like my high school career. And actually, his song was the one that I created, "City on My Chest."
Yeah.
Off his lyrics.
Right.
And I got into college as I started to, you know, mature. I kind of got into like the J. Cole phase. And now I'm kind of just all over, you know. Jay-Z, I appreciate Jay-Z now as I get older, and everything he does as an entrepreneur, you know, artist, you know, is second to none, unbelievable. And yeah, so between those, you know, that's my life in the, you know, kind of in 32 years, you know, the 50, Lil Wayne, J. Cole, Jay-Z, all mixed together is kind of what makes up, my music, my music game. But I love Biggie. I was always a fan of Biggie.
Yeah.
I love doing my research, like the NWA movies that be coming out and stuff like that,
I watched Straight Outta Compton falling asleep last night. I'm famous for that, watching movies.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. With your father, what about old school R&B, even 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 60s, 70s, 80s?
Yeah, Pops don't have a favorite artist, but he keeps, in the car, it'd be something smooth
Right.
Yeah, R&B playing. And, it would go gospel from time to time, but it's definitely gonna be something, smooth. And he'll let me know when something is from his day.
My kids have grown up with all the old school rap. So we grew up literally with rap. We were in the 70s, 80s. So Run DMC, Cool J. We were growing into our 20s with Biggie and all that, man. But I grew up with parents with that Motown era. So, I still love all that, man. Because I just remember being a little kid in the back of the car, driving down Shell Road, just enjoying all that vibe, man. And it's funny because what music can do for me sometimes is remember my childhood and being back home and how special that was. Because a certain song might come on and I go, oh, man, I remember when my dad, we were doing this or we were doing that. So those are special. And so I've done that with my kids where they've been raised on old school rap and gospel music. So I don't even listen to the new stuff, maybe because I just think everybody mumbling, but I really love Kirk Franklin because I love the beats and his message. So
absolutely. My mom is huge on gospel. So Kirk Franklin definitely was heavy into the rotation growing up.
Oh,
and still now.
Yep.
We got to stop because I'll talk about music all day. But growing up in the 70s in Hampton, I just remember I love Motown Philly. OJ's, Teddy Pendergrass, Harold Melvin and Blue Notes. But man, I tell you, your dad'll maybe tell him tonight. Let's just kiss and say goodbye by the Manhattan. You know what I'm talking about, Rusty? When the guy starts off with the bass. The bass voice. Man, that was some baby making music, man. That's how we were born.
Hey, Tommy, do you have a nickname? Do you have a nickname? People
got to make you one.
You have.
Yeah, Tommy actually. So my real name is Thomas. So I've gone by Tommy, and then once I got to college, it became just TR, my initials. Now I guess it's City on my chest to the kids that don't know my name and they see me in their school. Like, hey, City on my chest. I'm like, my name is Tommy, and they're like, okay, City on my chest. So
you got one?
TRJ.
TRJ. So you say TRJ. Yep.
TRJ. That's my dog. TRJ.
Right.
We did that with Ron Peterson Jr. He's a Bethel alum, but he's written bestseller books. And now he is RPJ to the Kirk and Byrd show. And I say that because I am Hudson Lorenzo Byrd the Third. Okay. All right. Everybody calls me Rusty. That's my nickname. But to a lot of people, I'm HB3.
Okay, HB3. Okay.
Yep.
I'm TR2.
Oh, TR2. I like that better. Okay. TR2.
I was in a fraternity. I got about 50 nicknames, but so closing out, cityonmychest.store, and we will get all your social media at this moment. Yep. We'll roll it right here. And we're going to roll it for a little bit, but we really, really appreciate you having on. We know you got a lot of young people and a lot of, folks that know you. And, our show is all about, we love doing this. I mean, it's 9:45 and I got to work like nobody's business tomorrow. Rusty does too, but this has been fun. We love it. Yeah, we're going to get down to your camp. I'm actually going to Europe like on Monday, but I'll find a way. But Tommy, thank you so much, and really appreciate you taking time. And man, I'm excited for you. You sound excited. This, why not? That's what I say.
Extremely excited. It's always a new day, new lives to affect. You know, when people walk into the store for the first time,
that's right.
They leave with is what matters the most. And I love everything you guys are doing. Like you said, I saw the interview with Dustin Johnston, and I was like, hey, these guys are on to something. I love the energy. Like, thank you for having me. I'm on.
Yeah, man. Well, the biggest thing is
anytime we can help you out, bro.
Yeah.
Anytime. You're welcome back. Anytime. Anything you want to promote. Hey, even if it's just a 10 minutes, come on. Tell us about something you're doing. You've always got a platform.
Thank you.
Yeah, real quick plug, 10, 15 minutes. You know, you want to talk about an event. Yep.
And sitting on my chest, I know you're saying everywhere, but bro, like we 703 now. And so we got people up here. They need to know about you. We got to see how we can get you up here.
And that's the beauty of the brand. It's not just about I'm 757 to the core, but this brand can literally morph into any city or area code, you know. So definitely we can get the 703 gear up there and get the kids. And
we'll get the 917, the 646. We'll get the 402.
Yep.
The 202, bro.
And even still, the beauty, you can't see it, but the logo is a location. It's a C, but it's also a location pin.
That is really sweet. I love the logo and some of the variations you do. And you got a lot of stuff. By the way, a lot of stuff for females also, which is good.
Absolutely. It's funny that when, you know, I started off kind of as like a male athleisure brand, and I started with a few female products, and next thing I know, I'm having more female shoppers than males. So I definitely keep things for the ladies, because you know, women like to shop. So why not?
Women like to overspend.
I want to be the place they overspend at. So
there you go. All right, Tommy. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely, it's been an honor. Thank you.
God bless you.
You're blessing a lot of people, man, and I appreciate what you're doing, man. And just keep it going, because I know, I know you come from good stock, and you definitely come from a good home, good family, good area, and it shows, bro. And so again, I'm proud of you. Look, you don't even know you had fans in high school and college, and you didn't even know I was out there.
I appreciate.
So you know,
thank you.
That's I'm proud of you. Keep doing your thing, man.
I'm gonna see you because I got a friend. Every time I come down, I stay. She's right off of Oyster Point. Okay. Like right near the highway, and Patrick Henry's right around the corner. I'm gonna come in there and
please pop in. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll probably spend too much money. So
hey, thank you.
All right. Have a good night, man. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
God bless. Take us out, Rusty.
God bless you, man. The Kirk and Byrd Show is out.